And coming back with something very, very interesting and something a bit lighter than where we come from, I would like us to talk about, of course, everybody's talking about New Year's resolutions. Of course, everybody's talking about, oh, it's a new year. What do I do? What do I do? And I'm thinking, I'm sure the days of New Year's resolutions are over. I am absolutely certain of that. I'm sure now we're talking about a new you. How do you reinvent yourself? How do you reaffirm yourself? How do you become a better you? With me on the line is Veronique Bruggelman. Am I right, Veronique?
Yeah, Bruggelman. That's right.
Okay, Veronique is a life coach, and you're going to give us a sense of what is it that you need to do to reaffirm yourself and reinvent yourself in the new year.
Okay, well, this is a fantastic time of the year that people tend to get closure from the year that's just passed and sort of look forward to what's coming in the new year. There's this vigor and this motivation to take the new year by its horns. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people go about setting sort of traditional goals like, losing weight, stopping smoking, and all the goals that I think we've all been familiar with and we've all attempted, and 2 weeks later we crash and burn and they get forgotten until the next new year. So there's an interesting thing that I'd like people to think about, and that is that a lot of these goals that people come up with aren't actually goals that are an extension of themselves. Mm-hmm. They're usually goals that are created because of what society expects of them, or what their work environment expects of them, or their spouse expects of them, or what they believe religion expects of them, or what it means to be a good mother. And this is why we fail at achieving our goals, because they're not truly an authentic extension of who we are and what we want.
So how do you then reassess that and truly become who you are meant to be?
Okay, well, that's the exciting part. So before we can set goals, you actually need to take a step back, and you need to ask yourself questions like, who am I? Mm-hmm. What makes me tick? What makes me come alive? What inspires me? What makes me want to jump out of bed in the morning and take on the world with sunshine from within my heart? And a lot of people struggle with that because they think they can answer that, but when it actually comes time to answering it, they really struggle with it, because the answers that people often come up with, again, are those answers that they think are expected of them. And that's where we fall short, because you can never be truly inspired. You can never be truly motivated. If you're not doing the things that make you come alive, but you're doing what's expected of you or what other people think you should be doing, you'll never feel truly motivated or excited about that challenge or that goal that you set yourself to. There's one thing that you can do to kind of assess the condition of one's self-worth. And see how far you need to go digging to actually look at how much work needs to be done before you can set yourself goals. And that's if you just very simply stand in front of a mirror, look yourself straight in the eyes, and say your name out loud and tell yourself that you love yourself and truly, wholeheartedly accept yourself for who you are.
Veronique, now, that's great, but the reality is not everybody has been brought up with this assertion of themselves and the fact that they are great and all of that. And fundamentally, a lot of people actually battle to believe it. How do you get people to take away those layers of previous experiences of self-hate and to get to the core of accepting and loving themselves?
It's a process. There are a few things that one can do. For example, you find yourself picking up good and bad things in the people around you every day, right? I think we're all guilty of going, oh, she's really beautiful, or my God, that guy should really go on a diet, or wow, he's so smart. Yes. We find ourselves saying things like that, good and bad, all the time. Mm-hmm. Become aware of those thoughts, because every single thought that you think, that you acknowledge or see in the world around you is in fact a reflection of what is alive within you.
Oh,
so if you see the good things in people,
yes,
they're very much alive within you, and that's a good starting point to start embracing those things and going, wow, if I see that, then I should pat myself on the back because I do have that. And if there are things that you struggle with, or people that get under your skin, or bad things that you acknowledge in others. It might not necessarily mean that because you see somebody overweight and notice that you too are overweight. But there's something about that doesn't sit right with you. And it's an opportunity for you to learn and to go dig and go, okay, why does that bother me? Why does that not sit right with me? What values of mine are being compromised when I notice that in somebody else?
Sure. You're more than welcome to give us a call on 011-883-0702 or 021-446-0567. We are with a life coach. What a better way to start the year. Give us a call. Give us your thoughts. What are your New Year's resolutions? And we won't call them that. We're just going to give it another name. Come up with something else. We're trying to reinvent you. We're trying to reassert you. So give us a call with your thoughts, with your ideas, with your questions for Veronique. And she'll definitely be here to assist with whatever it is that's bothering you about reasserting yourself. Veronique, tell me about people who, at this time of the year, some people get extremely depressed for whatever reason. Let's call it, sometimes it's a matric results that are coming up in a few days' time. How do you manage to close the noise around you and still live through that? Sort of the expectations.
Sorry, there's no one answer to that because we're all unique people. Some people might find solace in talking. Others might enjoy a bit of yoga. Others may enjoy, going for a really hardcore cycle and just cycling it out of your system, for example. There's no real one answer for that. But there is one underlying common theme that a lot of people in our world that we've grown up in don't realize, and that is that there are actually no mistakes. There are only learnings. And in a world where everything is right and wrong, we put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect, to strive to be number one, to be the top of the class, to have the ideal figure. It's always the strive for perfection because we've been led to believe if you're not perfect, then you're a loser, right? When that's the biggest load of nonsense that you could ever be taught. Life is about living. It's about taking risks. It's about making mistakes. It's about failing at things. If you're not failing and you're not making mistakes, you're not living. A baby falls over, starts to cry, and then gets up and tries to walk again. It's how we grow and how we develop as people. So if we start to change our perspective that there are no mistakes, and as long as we live life with good intentions and a pure and compassionate, kind heart, if things go wrong, that's okay. Instead of going on that whole self-critical, I'm a loser, how can I be so stupid path, it's better to go, okay, I tried this, so well done for that. Where did I go wrong and what did I learn from this? And how am I going to take those learnings and be better next time round?
We get taking your calls on 011-883-0702 or 021-446-0567. All your questions for Veronique, who's a life coach, who's here to assist and who's here to guide us as well. I'm just thinking, though, Veronique, that it's all good and well that we believe all of this, but in an environment and in a society where we are so bombarded by people who are overachievers, and that's all you see, who are perfect at every single way. They're great at what they do. They look great. I mean, there is absolutely nothing wrong with them. How do you? And I'm thinking of young people especially who have not quite completely understood who they are. How do you get a sense of yourself within all of that pressure?
Okay, well, I can guarantee you that those people that we think are so perfect, if you were to sit and have a cup of coffee or 3/4 of a bottle of wine with them, they'd give you a whole list of things that they're not happy with.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, everything is a perception. It's how you look at the world. And so often, we watch TV, we see what's out there on the media, and it's our frame of reference and our perception of that. But that whole little saying of the grass is not always greener on the other side, and it usually isn't, is so true. So when we think, oh, that person is perfect or whatnot, they really aren't. They have the same demons. They struggle with the same things as every single one of us does. the difference between, and I'm putting this in inverted commas, a successful person and a non-successful person is really their attitude to how they deal with life and the obstacles that life presents them.
Bingo, yeah.
That's the difference. And I love the fact that you said, let's not call it goals earlier when you were saying we're talking about goal setting. I love the fact that you said, let's not call it goals. Because goals are so like, it's a chore. Like, oh my God, I need to do this and try and achieve this. Yeah, it looks more like a chore, you know. Whereas I like to look at goals more as opportunities to make myself more interesting, or to make myself a better version of me. So, for example, instead of just saying, all right, I'm going to lose 10 kilos over the next 3 months, why not start a group of something that you enjoy, like walking or cycling or hiking, and get people involved. And by inspiring others to get fit and maybe lose weight, it'll also inspire you. So now you're not only achieving that goal that you set yourself out to, but you're also making an impact on the world. Or if you want to learn Spanish, when you actually learn how to speak Spanish, you open up an opportunity to speak to millions more people than you would have if you could only speak English. For a guy who does business, that's a great skill to acquire. So it's not a goal anymore. It becomes a way to make yourself more interesting and enrich your business. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I definitely get you. To people who have felt like, you know, the world is crumbling in on them and it's the end of the world, how do you speak to them to get them out of that rut?
Well, again, there's no one story there. You know, you kind of, there's no one answer, because it's where did that come from? At this time of the year, it's usually revolves around the fact that people become very reflective, and those people that aren't, for example, in big families, or they're single, or they don't have a family. You know, a lot of people go away on holiday, companies shut down. So suddenly you go from the rat race, from traffic and, you know, work and all this buzz, to like a couple of weeks of having just time with yourself. Yeah. And there's things that we can ignore throughout the year, but during this reflective time, they become a big reality. And all over TV, you have movies about families getting together and opening presents. Some people can't afford presents. Some people don't have family. So all of these realities start to hit us. And again, it's not about what we don't have. It's about reinterpreting that as, okay, I don't have that, but I want that. So what am I going to do, or how can I change who I am, or what can I do more of to make sure that I get that next year this time, for example, you know?
Veronique Bruggelman here speaking to us, who's a life coach, about reinventing yourself and affirming yourself in the new year. It's 3:30. Leanne de Bassempier.
Thanks, Pamela. Good afternoon. Limpopo police have appealed for help in finding a man who allegedly shot dead his 2 stepdaughters. But police have also warned people to be cautious because he's believed to be armed and dangerous. The 39-year-old man is alleged to have killed his 8-year-old and 10-year-old stepdaughters yesterday in Gachweni outside Lebogomo. Gauteng police remain tight-lipped about the death of one of their own after he was found hanging from a tree near Midway railway station in Soweto. They say details around the death of the 51-year-old man, who was a warrant officer stationed at the Orlando police station, are still sensitive. And the Cape Chamber of Commerce says it fully supports the implementation of the Youth Wage Subsidy, also known as the Employment Tax Incentive Act. It came into effect yesterday. The act is aimed at alleviating youth unemployment by offering employers incentives to hire young people. These and other stories in Eyewitness News at 4 o'clock, or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
We have no major delays around the Gauteng area apart from roadworks and traffic lights, but we'll focus on Cape Town for now. Looking at Kraaifontein, there's a veld fire affecting visibility on the N1 in both directions. That's between Brighton Road and Table Bay Boulevard. And if you're going to be driving in Somerset West, there's been an accident on the N2 inbound just before Broadway Boulevard. Driving in Parow, there's been an accident on the Voortrekker Road going inbound between West and Delarey. And if you are driving in St. James, there are delays on Main Road going south from Atlantic Road till Cloverley Road in Fishhook. Tsiko Molobye, EWN Traffic.
Mega Sound. Call us now, 011 883 0702.
Talk Radio 702.
Summer.
You're on Talk Radio 702 and 567 Cape Talk. My name is Phemelo Ngcobo, sitting in for Jenny Chris Williams and John Mathan in Cape Town. And we continue our discussion about reinventing yourself, reaffirming yourself in the new year, instead of setting goals and instead of having these New Year's resolutions that never really, last very long. We are speaking to a life coach, Veronique Brechelmans, who's going to talk to us and who is talking to us about how do you manage the transition from last year, the last you in the last year, and the new you. Veronique, is it important to always begin again, or should you just sort of move on and not necessarily mark the year as a new thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't mark the year as a new thing. Every day is a new day, and you should approach every day as a new day where you can make the best out of that new day. We tend to put so much pressure on ourselves and put timings to things, because that's the world that we've grown up in. Everything's kind of set. There's an 8 to 5 job. There's dinner at such and such a time. You need to eat bacon and eggs for breakfast. You shouldn't have it for dinner because that's just not a dinner meal. All these rules and regulations that we've created that are so far removed from just being human and loving and living life. If you want to do something and it's real for you at this moment, do it now. And obviously achieving these things are fantastic, and pat yourself on the back and grow with it. If you don't achieve it, that's okay. I mean, if you get a book and you love the first half of the book and the second half is boring, why would you want to torture yourself and read the second half? It's okay to leave the second half. We're so hard on ourselves. Just because you don't complete something doesn't make you less of a person. The key, once again, is to take the learning out of it. What about it has made me lose interest? And that kind of stuff. But not to be so hard on yourself.
Life coach, and who is talking to us about reinventing yourself in the new year, and the fact that it shouldn't actually be a new beginning. It should be something that you just should be living. And you can definitely find Veronique at justbe.co.za, and it's just-be.co.za. That's where you can get Veronique, and if in case you want to organize a session for yourself, that's definitely where the place to go. And you're more than welcome to give us a call on 011 883 0702 or 021 446 05.